Well, actually, that doesn't take that much time. I mean, it's just good to have the notes, and if something significant happens, then I write a lot. But I actually haven't written it in a while, just because nothing really significant's been happening. Because it's just, all right, got to get these templates done. Got to write some more HTML and some CSS, and
Yeah,
you
and
know,
they'll slap him over the head with a limp trout and give me some templates.
yeah. So I mean, what we're doing right now is it's less learning and more just, we're just getting this software done.
Yeah, there's really not much of a learning curve. I've been doing programming since I was little because that's something that I'm a natural at, but it's not something I necessarily enjoy doing just because you're good at doing something. And part of the thing with me is that I'm a problem solver, and I love solving problems and stories. But that problem solving skill also applies very well to programming, and that's how I got so good at that so quickly. And so part of the reason I went into art or even business was to get me away from programming. And look what I'm doing now.
Yep. And I've been trying, and what I was hoping for Hackberry Hollow is I could get away from being a graphic designer for a living, and not have to create logos and websites and write up HTML. And
Yeah, look what you're doing now. But you know what? I mean,
this will be the last time. Actually, no, it won't.
no, it won't.
We have other stuff
both,
down the road that we'll need some.
yeah, we both know it won't. But
Yeah.
this won't be. I mean, I'm going to be doing code for that school for quite some time, and maintenance and adding new features, and yeah, I expect to be coding for a while. But I mean, I don't mind. I don't hate doing it. It's just not what I wanted to do with my life. But
Yeah, it's yeah.
connect the dots.
Yeah. So, so that's basically the origin story. Originally, again, 2007, we wanted to be kind of an omni-media studio. Of course, we couldn't use the word omni-media. Thank you, Martha Stewart. But we that was kind of what we want to do, is just something where it's just like, if we want to do something that's, if we want to do a video game, we could do it. If we want to do a show, we could do it. If we wanted to do software, we could do it. And we had a lot of ideas. And as time went on, we started moving away from the video game thing, which I'm actually somewhat disappointed about. Hopefully we can do video games at some point. But
I wouldn't be opposed to the idea.
Just because the thing with video games is it's a medium that has so much potential, and right now we're just kind of we're in this infancy stage with video games, and we're still stuck in the infancy stage.
Well, it just really hasn't been thoroughly explored as a storytelling medium. Because for me, I just want to tell stories, and damn it, I just want to tell stories.
Yeah.
And I mean, I explored animation as a medium for doing so, and I could have just done that just easily as a novelist. But I guess part of the reason why I didn't, follow the path of being a novelist was because I didn't think I'd ever be successful at it. You have to be in like the right place, at the right time, know the right people. It's too big of a gamble. And how many authors are out there versus how many actually get to be successful? And it's not always the best ones that find success. It's just the lucky ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at some of the stuff that's really popular, and I think,
what?
That of all this, and then I pick up a book by Brandon Sanderson, and then I feel like inadequate. Like there's never. Oh my goodness.
I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy. I bow before your presence. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson's an amazing author, but I mean, to me, medium doesn't matter so much. Other than that, some mediums have a limitation, and I really don't know how to exploit video games as well as to know how to exploit, say, animation.
Yeah, is it Chris Crawford? Let me make sure. It's the guy who did the dragon speech. Yeah, Chris Crawford. He's working on this Storytron thing, and that might be interesting, because the thing with video games is that it is interactive, and I mean, think about what you could do with that, especially on an educational level, which Chris Crawford in his dragon speech, if you want to watch that, Anyway, it was like the speech that he did is like the best speech he's ever done, and that was when he decided to get out of the video game industry as quote unquote the video game industry and actually go into what he called interactive storytelling, because he felt that's where video games really needed to go. And one of the things he talked about was when you watch cats playing, what they're really doing is they're really learning how to hunt. They're learning how to kill.
You look at notice how a cat will pounce on things and they'll like swipe at things. That's how they play. They pounce on each other.
Yeah, it's practice. That's how they learn. And for us as humans, we learn the same exact way. You know, we learn about the universe and we learn about the world by playing with it. You know, we dissect stuff. You know,
Hey, let's cut open this frog and see how it works.
yeah, let's go paintballing, you know, for fun. you know, and even, I guess even stories is kind of a way that we play as a way to kind of, you know, practice real life circumstances that we may have down the road. And with a video game, you can create this controlled world in a computer and then say, okay, user, go in and have fun with it, play with it. And then as the user tries all these different things, they're actually learning something. And there's a lot of things you can do in a video game where you can just kind of play around and try stuff without any, consequences. Like racing games, for example. I mean, think about that. If you had like a really, really good driving simulator that was as good as, actually driving a car, you could actually have people do driver's training in a simulator without putting them on the road and risking other people. Now, eventually you'll need to do that, but having like a driving simulator would be a good place to start. I mean, think about the possibilities that you could do with this. On a scientific level, you know, have people playing around with physics, playing around with chemistry in a computer without blowing their house up. And then it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. People won't think that they're, going to school and reading boring facts in books.
One of the really amazing and crazy things that has been talked about, and I don't believe that this endeavor has actually started yet, even though there's like TED Talks and whatnot, is taking the human body and simulating the whole thing. Right now, the way that we do drug testing is let's inject this crap in this mouse and see what happens. And anybody can cure cancer in a mouse because you can keep doing trial and error. You can give cancer to 100 mice and keep doing trial and error until you cure it. You can't do that with a human because you don't have the samples. That's why we can cure all kinds of crap in mice, but we can't in humans, because we can't do the same thing to humans that we can to mice. But what if we could simulate one completely and have it account for everything completely in the computer? You have this human body that's living, breathing, except for it's not real. You can do anything you want to it. And you can give it cancer, and then you can do a million different attempts to cure that cancer. And this is one of those things. I mean, we're not even close to this yet, but when we get there,
yeah, the closest thing we have is Trauma Center for the Wii.
Well, I mean, this is way more advanced than that. We're talking about simulating an actual body. I mean, it's going to be keeping track of all your blood vessels, all your blood cells and crap.
Yeah.
Like this crazy, crazy particle simulator. But when we reach a point like that, I mean, think about what that's going to do to society. Think about what you could do with doctors when they are doing an entire simulated surgery.
Yeah. And
think about that for a second. They could kill 100 artificial patients, so that they never ever make those mistakes and kill a real person.
Yeah, and the thing is that this can be done in an educational environment where you'll actually enjoy it. Be like, hey, let's go dissect someone and let's try different things. It's like, oh, it's fun. We're learning. It won't feel like concepts will stick.
Look at all that blood.
Yeah. I mean, it's the potential in video games is, when I think about it, just blows my mind. Unfortunately, there's a lot that has to be done, especially in interactive storytelling, because as far as like, putting yourself in a world and you have to actually interact with people, the only way we can really do it now is through scripted events and, like, it's like choose your own adventure on steroids kind of a thing.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I really, I mean, that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there that know how to do this, but I don't really know how to exploit that medium and have it without having it feel like, oh, I'm just sitting back and watching it happen.
Yeah.
Feel like you're following a script.
Yeah, and actually, I think it was this week on The Escapist. There was a video. They have a video series, a weekly video series called Extra Credits about video games. And this week they recently did a video on why are games only about combat, really. I mean, like 90% of them are about combat. Why can't you have one that's about persuasion, about communication? And you could probably still do it in the same way. I mean, if combat is, handled through numbers, why couldn't you do like a conversation through numbers? I use ad hominem and, your persuasion meter goes down or up or, something like that, kind of.
Yeah, have a game where you do debating. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not?
That could be fun, actually.
Yeah. So, and I, and even though we're doing educational, software at the moment and, a web comic, and now that, as a studio, Lumaglyph is a studio, we're pretty focused on just, doing, when we're doing web comics for now, but soon we're going to transition into, animation. So that's like our goal, but I've been still keeping tabs on, video game theory because that informs everything else. I mean, heck, video game theory informs education and how to design a curriculum. Believe it or not, and how to teach classes.
Yeah, we've actually taken a lot from video game theory for our curriculum.
Yeah. So and that might be why I was able to teach the Blender workshops fairly decently, and how I've kind of developed this structured learning thing, because in a video game, it's very structured learning. You learn how to use a sword. You learn how to shoot an arrow. You learn how to shoot an arrow through a fire to turn it into a fire arrow, so you can do certain things with it. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, you're talking Zelda.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's one of those things. Video games have. Because you have to learn how to use the play mechanics and in order to play the game. And they've come up with a fairly interesting way of making learning fun so that the user can get to the game itself. At least some games have. I mean, other games. I don't want to mention any names. I hate to put Final Fantasy on the spot like that. But some games make that tedious.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Valve just really has nailed the, how you teach a player very specific concepts by just giving them, here's a little bit of a problem, and you can obviously solve the problem, pretty quickly. And then it just kind of evolves, very simple mechanics and trying to use them in different ways. Portal is an excellent example. Play Portal and you realize, they don't really teach you how to play the game. There's only two things it teaches you, and it has like a little text that pops up. It says mouse 1, which means mouse click 1 fires a portal. Space, jump. Shift, crouch. Mouse 2 is the other portal. Everything else about the game, you have to figure it out on your own, and when you figure it out on your own, it's like, oh, I am so smart. You just feel awesome.
Yeah, you have like a reward for doing it, and that reward is just your satisfaction.
Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't have to do anything else, and that's the thing. Like with real life, what makes us feel good? It's just pure satisfaction.
The sense of accomplishment.
Yeah,
I did this.
Yeah,
look at how awesome I am.
Yeah. So Valve has got it, and we've researched them to death. So we pretty much know what they're doing.